people involved in trade ideas have been in this business and been successful for a very long time. So timing, and this is very important for why we create a trade of the week and why it's free. We know that most people simply do not have the luxury of the kind of timing that I had when I perfectly went into the right business out of college and was able to get very good at it and was fortunate enough to stay in it. So all the things that I had learned through my career as a professional trader and later on in software are put into trade ideas to help you guys not have to go through the bloody noses or the kind of very steep learning curve that I had to go through myself. And another very important aspect of what trade ideas has inside of it is the kind of feedback that you get. And that feedback is critical for what we call deliberate practice, which is how you really get good. Scott, I'm going to give you a second to talk about some of the offers, and I know it's kind of quick, but I want to then do a couple of things in the background while you do that to get everything ready for the next part of the presentation. Is that okay?
Yeah, can you switch to slide 8,
Sure.
And then when I ask you to, switch to slide 9?
Absolutely.
So when we run these seminars, we like to provide a good value to the people that are attending, and what we like to do is give everyone 30% off of any purchase that they make. It's 30% off of your order total, so that's 30% off your first month, or you could try a trial month, or you can get into the Advantage Player program, which is a great deal. You can get a lifetime subscription to the Odds Maker, a lifetime license, and all that's a fantastic value. I mean, trying trade ideas for $52.50 for a month, that's under $2 a day, really. You spend more on coffee. If you want to go to the next slide there, Dan,
Yep.
and then we'll revisit this one after that. Our best deal that we offer right now is $899 for a full suite of trade idea products. That gives you the lifetime odds maker, so you have that for anytime you have an active subscription with trade ideas, whether you go away for the summer and then come back in the fall, or if you're all year round, you have that forever. It also bundles in a $628 value of a full year of trade ideas. We also include an optimized strategy. So for our clients that already know that trade ideas is a fantastic value, this is the best deal that we have going right now. And we made an easy link to go to. It's bit.ly/899saver. And what that'll do is take you to a landing page where you can click through and purchase that deal as a package. I'll also send an email to everyone that registered for the webinar with all of this information and a recording of the webinar as well. If you want to go back to the first slide, let me reiterate that the 30% off is for credit card purchases. It's 30% off the order total, and the code that you want to put in the promotional code box is April 8 webinar. Very easy. I think all caps is necessary. I think it is case sensitive. I just saw a question pop in about what is an optimized strategy. Dan can cover that. He's probably going to talk about similar things as we move forward. An optimized strategy is something that we provide for you that's a view on within trade ideas. It could be an alert, it could be a multi-strategy window, it could be a top list that is customized specifically for your trading style, for the types of stocks you like to trade, to try and spot opportunities that suit what fits your risk tolerance and account balance. Dan, you could probably a good spot for you to jump back in.
Absolutely. Well, Scott, I was just trying to see how long you were going to go, and I really liked it. That was very good. Scott knows exactly what he's talking about. And again, he'll come back towards the end. And I also will answer a lot of these questions, but we're really going to dive into the automation. So and that's really one of the amazing things that is so exciting about technology today is what we can do with it, which was never available before. So feedback. Automation and feedback go hand in hand. If you read this, basically what we're saying is that you can practice wrong for a very long time, and unless you understand that you're practicing wrong, then you're just going to get worse, not better. So it's tricky. how do you know if you're doing something right or wrong? Well, you can invest money, you can invest real money, and right away your profit tells you if you're doing something right or if you're doing something wrong. That's very suitable if you have a ton of money and you're willing to go through the risks of being right sometimes and being wrong sometimes. But otherwise, how are you going to get feedback? Well, if you are a student of the market, you've probably heard the term paper trading. Paper trading is the idea of that, instead of actually going in the market and, executing a real trade with your broker, you basically pretend to do it. You say, you know what, I bought this stock right here, and I'm going to sell it, later. And you supposedly, do the right thing. Paper trading, again, is an idea that goes in the right direction, but there's quite a few problems with it. One is a lot of people work for a living, and how are you going to paper trade if you're doing surgery or if you're at a doctor's convention or if you're, running your business? And again, most of our customers are not professional traders. They're what you call active investors, people that actively manage their portfolios instead of passively giving it to other people. And so as a result, they don't have the time to paper trade the way that you would need to, the way that I was able to when I was younger, when I was just starting out. So the key is how to do all of this. Remember the slide that showed you the article that was written about me. Trader makes $250,000 without ever putting on a tie. I mean, it's a great title, great article, but man, it wasn't easy making $250,000. I came very close to losing $50,000 of the first investment bankroll that I had, and it was so painful I can't even begin to express it, because I mean, it was like a few more poor investments and trades, and it was, there was no Starbucks at that time, so there was no option. It would have been straight to McDonald's. The point being is that I learned how to do it very well, and what we try to do at Trade Ideas is build in the things that I have learned over the years, okay, and put them into the technology so that when you're paper trading, instead of paper trading like you're paper trading like me. Let's say that again. Instead of paper trading like you're paper trading like me. That's what an optimized strategy is. What it does is, and I'll really show you, it lets you answer questions for yourself that you would otherwise really not be able to answer, because again, you wouldn't have had the time to do it, or the ability to know how to do it. So hold on for just 1 second while I bring you this. So this is a strategy that says is ready for a 5-day swing long with 1 point stop for the day. Love the chart on this one. And the reason I'm saying this is I'm actually kind of showcasing in this example technology that we haven't even brought out yet, but basically this is a fully automated strategy suite. And we're kind of working with the AI to make it a little bit more humanized. And here, this is trying to be a little bit funny, but the idea is that why does an investment have to sound like it's coming out of some sort of, weird, it's an RSI 78 crossover. What does that even mean? Most people can't relate to it, and so we've taken all of that away, and we're saying, okay, let's have the computer learn, for example, what does it take for a stock to perform well going 5 days into the future? And you do it like this. So you start with an assumption, and in this case it's an assumption when a lot of volume comes into a stock. And you just want to make sure that the stock is up a little bit, and you set a minimum price, a maximum price, and a minimum daily volume, and then you go. So let me just show you what that looks like when it's done in the raw. So this is all part of access to our artificial intelligence suite that sits in our server farm in San Diego, and this is why this is so exciting that we bring this technology to market. So I asked the computer, and remember, by the way, I'm also on the West Coast time zone, and I said, computer, I want to initiate trades that look good to me between 7 a.m., so it's 30 minutes after the market's open. That gives it a little bit of time to settle down, and for 3 hours till 10 a.m. So it's 1 o'clock Eastern. So the idea is, again, you create kind of like this window, and then you start testing hypotheses. In this case, how I'm going to sell this at the open in 6 days. So it's tomorrow plus 6 days. And I simulate buy. So here it's going through all of these trades that have taken place. And look at how many take place. Many more than people think. So many times more than you probably thought that a stock start to trade twice its normal volume while being up. And what happens later? So here it goes through the numbers, and it kind of gives you a complete strategy overview, a complete strategy readout. And we already have it right here because I had run this before. So here it's showing you that there was 1,497 possible trades. So you just paper traded 1,497 times. Out of that 1,497 times, you were successful 43%. So you weren't that great of a stock picker. However, you were probably going in the direction of the overall market. So your average winner was twice as big as your average loser. So again, maybe some of your ideas, like some of your high-level concepts were good. Of course, if you bought every single one of these trades and you were able to sell every single one of these 1400s through sheer number, you would be successful. But that's an impossible replication. The idea is that you're trying to see which way the wind blows, not that you're going to try to do 1,400 trades. But what we're showing you is, so how do you then, so we just did all of this practice, and what did we learn? Did we learn that this was good? Wow, over 1,000% projected annually, let's do it. No, it's not good actually, because let's look at the start. Could any of you have handled the approximately 450 or so trades it would have taken to just break even before you started getting on the right side of the market? No way. So the question is, how do you learn then? What can you do here to really start making money? Well, you apply the trader with $250,000 logic to it. Okay? You then apply the experience to it. And how do you do it? Well, you don't do it. Thank goodness. Because you don't have that experience, but I do. And I asked the computer to put my artificial intelligence in on it, and this is what the computer returned. A completely different strategy. Out of that 1,400 trades that we had, it was able to isolate 244 that had a statistical footprint for all of these components that no way anybody would have ever been able to figure out on their own. Profit factor of 2.37, a strategy return of 172%, if of course you were in 244 trades, which you wouldn't be, but still, assuming that these odds are going to maintain for the next investment, now you have some confidence. Okay? And let me show you one perfect example that I saw today. So let's look at the stocks that it suggested. So this is a strategy this is the strategy right here. And all of you guys that are interested, take some notes, because this is where you can, decide for yourself if it works later on or not by just jotting this down or take a screen capture. So here, RGLS, it said, is ready for a 5-day swing trade at 1859. So you got it at, assuming at 1859. It's very volatile today, and it pulled back to 1794. You're still in it, down a little bit. TGI, bought at 65.20, closed at 65.06. Again, within the volatility, still right there, 5-day swing long. HOLI, 23.96, closed at 23.19. So that would have been close to your stop. But remember, because this is a swing position, right, you're giving it more volatility. That was the rules from the beginning. Remember? When you set this up, you can just create a 1-point stop, and that's simple. And it just does, it's a rule. It's a rule that you follow. It's a rule that the computer follows. So here, CYLS, 52.61, 52.43. Again, remember, guys, that these out-of-sample trades all happen today without any artificial intelligence or curve fitting. It's just, this is all the system trades. So we're only going to know the results of this 5 days from now. Okay? So it's a good note to keep. So here's another one, NOAA, 27.20 you bought, and it closed at 28. So that was up a decent amount. SIMO, 29.75, 30.55 already in the money, and ATHX 3.10, and it closed at 3.12. So today was a pretty active day for this strategy, and you would not also necessarily have to take every single one of these, but at least you would know when you're watching this data that there are statistics behind it. Okay, that the odds of you being right are at least 62.3%. That's the difference of having the confidence that you're getting behind something that's statistically significant versus just a guess, which is unfortunately what 99% of people do most of the time. So, and it goes, by the way, right back to our Trade Ideas Trade of the Week, which is ConAgra. I want to start back to the initial reason why all of you were here. So Trade Ideas are algorithm, and we have many different ones. The one that I just showed you was the high volume footprint algorithm. They look at different things and they observe different time frames, and by the way, they're way better than that guy that made the $250,000, I can assure you, because while he gave them a good base of knowledge to work from, they've gotten better and better ever since. And they use real statistical analysis, real artificial intelligence to glean the proper footprints of what the computer thinks is continuation. So that's what's going on in ConAgra. As you know from the email, it was part of a multi-year uptrend that really started before 2014, but kind of continued up and started building a base right around December. Okay, and it built this base, couldn't get through it, pulled back, and right, around March, it really started to go, and this is the point, like right above 35 is when the algorithm really started kind of listening, carefully, and then when it crossed 38, that was the trigger that told the algorithm that, hey, this is the kind of pattern that I've seen when after this happens, a stock will continue much higher and probably at a good pace. I know that last week we had mentioned that we were going to do a full report of the Trade Ideas Trade of the Week P&L. We weren't able to do that, not because we didn't have it, but we just had so many other business conflicts that that we simply didn't get a chance to get to it. And that's going to be our to-do for the next Trade Ideas Trade of the Week webinar. And remember, the Trade of the Ideas Trade of the Week webinar, this ConAgra, you get that for free. We will always be working with you guys to provide this information, because one of the things that we do is that we believe through the Trade Ideas Trade of the Week, we'll have an ability for you guys to pay for trade ideas all for free. We know that these are good statistical trades, and again, our software is listening for all the things that it needs to listen to make sure that, you know, that there's a reason for pointing this out. So why don't I give Scott another opportunity to come in here and talk, now that I've, again, kind of showed you what optimization is. I'm going to let Scott come in real quick, talk a little bit about the promotions, and hopefully you understand now why you need the odds maker and access to the artificial intelligence, and why that $8.99 promotion is just so incredible.
Yeah, thanks, Dan. If you want to switch over to slide 8 in the presentation so we can have the offer code in front of everyone, that 30% offer code is good until this Friday. We do generally do these in the Trade of the Week webinars, but there's not really a point in waiting. You want to use the code, become a subscriber, and sign up for training so you can get the one-on-one setup to get started using this ahead of the other people that are going to register for training. When you check out using a credit card, just use April 8 webinar in the promo code, all caps, and it'll automatically take 30% off of your order total. So that'll bring your first month down to $52.50 if you're doing the monthly recurring, or if you just want to try us out. And this is still eligible for the full hour of training. The starter month for $99, it drops to $69.30. It's a great way to make sure that you're getting the value you want. If you want to switch to slide 9 there, Dan, our fans that already understand our value, that's really what this is for, this $8.99 deal. You want to go to the bit.ly link, bit.ly/899saver. That gets you a year of trade ideas plus a lifetime odds maker subscription. And we also include an optimized strategy, which when we do that via our execution consulting service costs $250 per strategy. So it's more than a 52% savings off the total value, but just off of the subscription and the odds maker, it is 52%, so it's more than half off. If you are already a Trade Ideas subscriber and want to switch to this deal to make sure that you get the odds maker for that value, just email us at info@tradeideas.com so that we can make sure you're not double billed for your normal subscription when you do this. Again, the promo code is April08 webinar.
Oops, sorry. Let me get you that. Okay.
That's fine, Dan. It's April 8. April 8 webinar. There's no 0, so April 8 webinar is the code, or the bit.ly link on the other page, which is bit.ly/899saver. And everyone that's attending today is going to get this in their email within about 2.5 hours following the webinar. We just need to convert the video, upload it to YouTube, and then send out the email. So you all get that in your inbox soon. Thanks, Dan.
Okay, awesome. Thanks, Scott. So we kind of discussed the ConAgra, and we talked a little bit about this, which is the AI strategy robot. It's a completely automated way of getting your investment ideas, your trade ideas. And the Trade Ideas of the Week is that showcase where we think that there's been enough good trades that if you just pay attention to them, you can get trade ideas kind of paid for. Let me quickly show you guys the actual, full product, so you can just kind of quickly get an overview. I know that we covered a lot today, and there's still a lot more to go to, but I wanted to show you real quick that optimization and strategy is one way to approach it. However, if you just want to know what's happening in the market in terms of something that you want to do discretionarily, let's say, again, you want to pick your stocks on your own somehow without worrying about the computer. Trade Ideas also lets you view the market in the best way possible by condensing the information into the most relevant forms. So for example, we have a channel bar, and this channel bar has many different channels depending on the things that might interest active investors, from Chinese stocks to cybersecurity to beaten up to the now trending, which actually is a whole channel that's dedicated to stocks that have been featured in the Trade Ideas Trade of the Week algorithm. They're not all the ones that we've chosen, but it's the algorithm kind of like the master set. And guess what? Some of these have really done very well. So if you really like the Trade Ideas Trade of the Week, there's a whole page for watching that type of movement. And again, you'll see things like what you saw there, craft, etc. Let me shrink this up so that I can, again, notice all the windows. They snap together. Part of our, what we're proud of is a pretty easy to use user interface that lets you do amazingly powerful things, but again, without the need to program and code. It's just mostly point and click. Every column is sortable. So whatever windows you see, especially if they have a T in front of them, okay, you can then resort any view you want. So here's Trade Ideas Week Monthly Gainer. So all of the Trade Ideas Trade of the Week, who has been up the most over the month? And it's Visa, followed by Kraft, followed by MYL and CarMax. So you can kind of see, but what about today? Who did the best today? And it's MYL, up 14%. And it had one of the largest social volumes, because remember that Trade Ideas not only looks at just the raw market data, but we track social data. So there's nothing that our $250,000, telephone holding artificial intelligence engine doesn't pick up. We're not just, looking at the price of everything on every time frame. We're also looking at the unstructured data and monitoring it to make sure that, we're following, to make sure we don't miss anything. So you can also sort it by that, and you can see, well, who's the other one? So apartment investment, AIV, was also mentioned, at least, normally. So that's the trending channel. There's a options channel. This is new because we just recently kissed and made up with the Chicago Board Options Exchange, and now that everyone's back in love again, we can provide incredible options data for you. In fact, we can make optimized strategies that focus on stocks with unusual options activity. So here you can see the highest put volume today, the largest increase in stock volume with options data, the highest call volume, and that way you kind of get an idea of what's going on if you're into the options game. This is probably one of the most exciting pages to look at because it's always going to show you just the unusual, and that's always the key. Cena had very, very high call volume today, and almost 3 times the put volume. Okay, while Alcoa had a very large amount of put volume, but only half of, even though it was second largest, it's still much more on the call side. And again, and that's why you can look at the ratios and just retweak the views. Like, so what had just tremendous puts but no calls? There you go. What about the other way around? Look at this one. 6,800 calls but only 600 puts. So there's just so many ways that this Trade Ideas technology lets you dig in and see what's going on other than just a simple glance over. And then the beauty is, again, you can just quickly surf away. Oh, you want to see like what's just moving in volume? We have this channel called the Surge, which really is just designed like an ear to the ground of unusual volume. And as soon as something starts to go, you will be the first one of your friends on it. So this is one of the more exciting channels, and the best part is we make these channels on the fly. So customers send us feedback, we interact with them, we discuss everything with people on our chat room. By the way, right here, the live Trade Ideas trading room, which Barry Einerson is manning all the time, it's closed obviously right now, but this is right now for free, and it will give you an immense amount of information and a very good feel for what kind of people interact with the technology and how they trade it and how they use it. And everybody's sharing for free. There's no fee for this. They're just putting on good trades with Trade Ideas technology, and it's like everybody wins. So that's another very good opportunity for somebody who wants to kind of get a feel. Come in there and check it out. Maybe this helps to understand why this odds maker deal is such a good deal, because every single one of these strategies. So here we have this one called the instantaneous volume surge. And again, strategies or alerts are not all meant to be traded. That's a very important thing that everyone has to understand. Not everything is meant to be a strategy. Some people just want to know when something is happening, okay? So when it happens, you want to just be alerted to it. Like, look at this spike, okay? We don't know if that spike is going to hit this resistance right here and go right back down, but we want to be in it in case it doesn't. That's the idea. So we can ask, again, the software question. So what would happen if you bought these and held 30 minutes? And let's see how many, we'll go for 64 days. We'll have a 1-point stop, and we'll simulate a buy. Look at the amount of data that's being crunched. This is you guys paper trading. And you have to ask yourself, how long would it take for you to run through this many transactions? I mean, for somewhere in the ballpark of, I think we're going to head over 6,000 is what it looks like. You can see the counter. I mean, we're doing about 1 a second or so. So I'm going to move it over and to the other screen while it goes. It'll be done very soon. But I just want you to understand what kind of power you're being given access to, and the kind of information that you should be able to glean compared to other people that are just listening to Kramer. So again, the channels give you a very, very good way to surf points of interest. And these channels are not static. They change when we are ready for them to change. Like here's an earnings channel, for example. I mean, if you like to be involved in things that are moving because of earnings, never, ever, ever will there ever be a better spot for you than this page, which is showing you up with earnings today, down with earnings today, up with earnings tomorrow, down with earnings tomorrow. So you have like the critical points are all like completely set up for you already, you know. And remember that, again, each column can be sorted and resorted. Up the most in 20 days, that's for you to quickly see, well, how have those earnings possibly had an effect on the stock? And the same thing with down the most with 20. You know, so were these earnings reports, did they happen? Like, how did the market react to them? So there's little places for anything you want. If you want to just focus on the positive, for example. I mean, every kind of winning opportunity, stocks that are just winning in every which way that you can imagine, every single one of them is on this page. Okay? They're going to be coming to you in real time and sorted in all sorts of different things. Stocks that you probably heard your friends talking about, possibly, or trading. You know, and again, if you're bearish, there's nothing wrong with being bearish. We have a page just for you, just for that. So I think, okay, that strategy should be ready now. Hold on 1 second. Oh, I just realized something. Sorry, guys. I took that strategy and I navigated away from it. I'm going to have to rerun it one more time. but since it's already done it once, it should be much, much faster. And by the way, that also happens when you're optimizing yourself. So here we go. We're going to just get really close here, over 3,000. And that's the one that, that's the strategy that had that beautiful top right there. Okay. And there we go. Okay. So 2,500, so you just practice through 2,500 trades. Okay. Look how efficient the market is on its own. So this is another important lesson for everybody that's looking at this. So if you don't have feel, if you're just looking at things visually, even the things that look good, look at the efficiency with which the market works. So this is a non-optimized view of stocks that are making highs on 3 times normal. That's what this looks like. But what our AI is telling you is that just because it's doing that today, based on the data that it has right here, there's just no predictive advantage for us. Okay? So we would ask the AI for help, and it would then give us a solution that gives you the kind of information that comes out in a scan such as this. And that's what it can do for every single one of your strategies if you have ads maker access. That's what we suggest should be a standard for you when you're making investment decisions, because you at the very least should be making educated guesses based on statistical analysis and not just what your eyes are telling you. All of the scientific studies that have been conducted tell us one thing, and that is people by themselves are just terrible at pattern recognition visually. And that's what you're being asked to do in the stock market. Okay? So when you get a little bit of AI assistance, this is what happens. 57% win rate and almost a 2-to-1 ratio between the winners and the losers. The key is this. That's what the computer does. This is why, again, I mean, this is the progress of our civilization, where we've gone from the chalkboard and to the old ticker tape to what you see here. There's no going back. And the question is, how can you take advantage of it? And that's what we're here to do together. What I want to do now is take some time and answer some questions. Let me pop the question section out. I know that I'm sure Brad and everybody they already have been answering these questions. So let's see. Go ahead, guys. If you have questions, I'll open it up and I'll answer them right now. Okay, so the question is, how do you take what you're seeing in the channel and plug it directly into the AI? Okay, the answer goes like this. So, Tim, everything that you see here, and by the way, I'm going to actually just talk a little bit about what is optimization and how the very foundation of a strategy. If you want to optimize, the only place that can happen is in a window that has an A in front of it. It's called an alert window. The other windows we have are T's, and these are top lists. Single stock window has an S, and there's an M called a multi-strategy. And again, if you become a subscriber, you will get taught all of that. It's super simple. I mean, it's really, at the end of the day, just windows that show you the stock symbols. They're very easy to work with. So if you want to optimize a strategy, I took this window called Strongest of Highs that picked up this MMYT. You can move it out if you want to, but it's not necessary. You right-click in the window and you select Run Odds Maker. Okay. And once you select the run odds maker, it lets you set these settings however you want them. You know, you can take a strategy, and remember, I'm on the West Coast, that trades just during lunch. Say, okay, how would I do if I traded during lunch and held it for 30 minutes? And why not ask yourself the question? Here you go. You have a lunchtime strategy. Okay, you had I mean, it's basically the same, you know, coin flip. 16, 21, 420 trades, 44% winners. That's called getting chopped up. But that's how you do it. So the question is, when will AI optimization for the public be available? We don't think that that's going to be available. The way, at least the way you think, we can't give everybody, for the price that we charge right now, we can't give each individual access to the AI. But what we can do, and what we plan on doing, is creating an AI channel. And that's kind of what you're seeing here. And this channel will have alerts that are all AI powered, and there will be different, you know, we'll have room for a lot more of this. So you will have, you know, lower priced AI, long strategies. You can have high earnings per share AI, swing strategies. So we're going to have different flavors. We might even have like a AI powered strategy bank, sort of like a theme. Like in Netflix, you have horror. Here you have AI. Okay, I kid, not horror, but you know, drama. So there could be like a little book, and you click on it. It's like, it should say pay-per-view, and then it'll give you access to all of that information. Does that make sense? We don't have a Canadian market channel yet, Jay, but we could do it, absolutely. I see no reason why not. It's just that we've never focused on that simply because it's just a relatively smaller market in terms of the amount of people. But I'll talk to Brad about that and see what we can do. Are there any other questions? I know it's already very late, and what I want to do is, again, I want to wrap it up a little bit with a conclusion of, you know, our trade ideas algorithms are designed to help you see things better in the market, and probably one of the best examples is this kind of a move, which, you know, when you see it yourself, this looks amazing. And by the way, there's plenty of money to be made here on an intraday basis. Okay, but there's just no guarantee, at least at this point, based on this one specific move, that anything will happen. And that's what the computer helps you figure out, which visually you can't, because you just really want this to work out. Okay, but the computer goes through, like what we had said, approximately anywhere from 5,000 to, we've done ones where it was 150,000, and from 150,000 practice trades, we then, you know, isolated a good sample that worked throughout the whole period, which only gave us finally like 150 to 200 trades. So traded every day, but it was really, really smooth, and it's something that, you know, that we're still using today. So Darren, the learning curve, we've focused on the learning curve, you know, pretty much from day one. The way we address that is, number one, everybody who subscribes to Trade Ideas has an hour one-on-one training session. You have free access to the chat room, where Barry not only, again, takes people through his own trades, but it's constantly there supporting people all throughout the day, so as is the rest of our support team. The key is not to be afraid. You know, the learning curve is steep because the stock market is not easy. If it was easy, everybody would be doing it. And it's really not steep in the sense that it's difficult. You just have to learn to turn it on and listen and not be afraid. I mean, that's really the bottom line. You can't be afraid of technology because it's here to stay. We made it easy because, you no longer have to go and do all this file and open, load layout and go through all this stuff like from 1981, which everybody still has to do in many software platforms. You just go to your channel, which has access to your own cloud. We store your strategies in our cloud, and just start channel surfing. Instantly have access to interesting information, and then if you like it, you can dig deeper into it and either ask the computer to optimize it, or you can just make the decision yourself. Again, you can trade both ways. So, Tim, the odds maker does have access to AI already, but it's manual versus. Hold on, let me show you real quick. Oops, but it's manual versus automatic AI, which is what we use for ourselves to create the completely automized strategy. So here's how it works. So you run the odds maker, and again, and it gives you a readout, and this readout will be, good because it's already enhanced by the AI. But I'm going to show you what the AI looks like and how the AI does what it does, so that you can then understand how to do it yourself, and then we can work together on, again, creating a better product and a better experience for you guys. Okay, so number one, I know there was also a question about drawdown. Okay, a little steep right there. But this is what the strategy looked like on the dailies. So from the beginning, had a very big day. It was a very good month in February. Okay. So equity curve, just in case I didn't go over this, you can double click on any day and you can see exactly which stocks did what and why and how. So there's a full, and there's another view of it. You can go to the calendar and instantly see what's going on. So everything can be evaluated and viewed and isolated and looked at to see where you can improve. So there's an optimization tab, okay? And this tab really is how the computer accesses, how the AI is accessed. So in this tab, it's kind of like your gateway to all the ways that you can split up our data. So one way you can do it is you can split it up by price. That's obvious, from here we go by 50s, but you can do it in intervals of 10. You can just see, well, was there any advantage in, doing one stock price or another? Kind of quickly get an idea. I guess when you, this one didn't work out very well. Maybe just get rid of the very high-end stocks and stop at 100. So these are the kind of things that you can do. You can also do time of day, same thing. Maybe I shouldn't trade the open. So you can go now manually and simply go to the alert window, right-click, run odds maker, and modify the settings, and now you've at least gotten rid of, hopefully, those 15 trades. So that's how you really work with the AI, because it's giving you all of these data points where it's better and where it's worse. But our software in the back end does that automatically. It just basically does what you would do manually, but faster. And that's what we're going to provide in terms of the optimized channel. Let me make sure. Where did the questions go? There they are. Okay. Okay. Okay, so guys, I want to thank everybody. It's just at the end of the hour. You guys have been here the whole time. I'm grateful for that. We are super pumped about what we bring to the market because we think we have the best technology for idea generation, and not just to show you what's going on, but to actually see if whatever it is that's going on is worth trading. Again, different people do different things. With trade ideas, you can trade thematically, or you can trade discretionarily using anything you want. You can find out what's happening. Darren, there is no lifetime price for trade ideas because we're constantly paying exchange fees for our customers. So, and those exchange fees are already included in your subscription. So we wouldn't be able to do that. So every month, we got to pay the boss. So, this channel bar gives you the ability to quickly jump between themes in a way that just wasn't around before. So you can quickly see, is there more action one place that suits what is needed to you versus another. And there's going to be more and more. I mean, we even counter, the marijuana stocks. There's been people that have made tremendous amounts of gains in those stocks, and we've created a channel just to view that specific theme. When you're ready to get in front of the market, we've got the pre-market channel. It quickly shows you what's gapping up and gapping down. And as soon as the market opens, you can right away go right to the surge. So there's even like ways to surf that are kind of now becoming popular. And then of course, as you get towards the end of the day, you go right into after hours. So it's a full viewing experience. There's just nothing that comes close. As we've mentioned before, these charts are part of our own charts, and they're going to be coming to trade ideas, and there's not going to be an additional fee for them. But there's a very high likelihood that the price of trade ideas will be going up soon based on all the functionality that we've added, but we never ever increase it on our subscribers. So everybody who buys now is always grandfathered into their standard price. So, this is a great opportunity. We're constantly moving forward with you. Although we've been in business for over 10 years, since 2003, we're innovating all the time. We have a huge partnership coming up with one of the biggest data platforms around, eSignal. So that's going to be very interesting, and there's just a lot for you guys to get from our service, and we hope that you participate. And at the very least, please stay with the Trade of the Week and let other people know that it's there. It's always coming. It's always free, and we appreciate the time that you guys took with us. If you want to get in touch with us real quick, here's the question. Scott, do you want to wrap it up?
I just want to thank everyone for coming and remind everybody that to keep an eye out in your email with an email detailing those special offers, the offer code, the $8.99 deal link, and also a link to a recording of the webinar so you can watch it again or send it to a friend if you think that they would benefit from using trade ideas. Thanks, everyone.